It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Monday, the 18th of August. I'm Michael Groff. The two major weather headlines around here for the week ahead will be increasing temperatures and the potential of an extreme heat event for the middle and latter portion of this week. Along with that, we'll also see an increase in monsoon moisture for widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms initially over the higher terrain, but making their way toward the lower deserts again by the latter portion of this week. All of the usual questions are out there. Where, when, how much precipitation could there be? Temperatures, how hot will they get? How long will it last? We'll also talk about the tropics. A lot going on there. So much to get into. We'll do all of that in just a moment. Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With all the extreme weather we have in Arizona, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help. Offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroofinggroup.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroofinggroup.com. All right, let's get into it here by taking a look at that almanac from yesterday. 105 degrees was the afternoon high after a morning low of 84, and that, based on averages, is exactly where we ought to be for this time of year. 115, that record high in 2020, outside now just before 7 a.m. Yeah, we've got some clouds out there right now. We're sitting at 84 degrees at Sky Harbor. Still pretty dry, though. Dew points at 47. Relative humidity, 27%. The winds are light. The barometer is rising. Temperatures out there this morning, I'd say these are fairly seasonal for mid-August. 81 in Arcadia, 79 in Scottsdale, 78 at Surprise, upper 70s to mid-80s across much of the valley in the south central deserts. Looking across southeast Arizona, 79 in Tucson, 70 at Sierra Vista and Nogales, 68 in Wilcox, 67 at Bisbee. Up north, this is where the one and only Michelle and I went over the weekend. We went for a hike up in Flagstaff, and it's a nice, cool, crisp morning up there. 50 degrees at the airport there, 47 at the National Weather Service office. I see a 63 at Winslow, 66 in Payson, 61 in Prescott. Great way to start the day there. Satellite picture out here across the southwest. We put this in motion, and the weather pattern is again on the move. Things are changing. That big ridge that was around here last week and got nudged off to the east when that trough came in over the weekend, and that's what dried us out. Well, that ridge is beginning to shift back toward the west. As of this morning, it's centered over northeastern New Mexico, and the flow aloft here is gradually starting to switch back out of the south and southeast, especially over the eastern third of the state today. And so as a result, that deeper monsoon moisture will be very slowly filtering back in for that chance of afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. All right, the watch warning map. Of course, we still have heat as an issue. Those heat advisories for parts of Texas, Oklahoma, eastward toward Alabama, Tennessee, as far north as St. Louis, and Springfield, Illinois. Out here in the southwest, of course, we know all about the heat. We've got an extreme heat watch in effect for the Phoenix area. That's from 10 a.m. Wednesday through 8 p.m. on Friday, and that extends through much of south central, southwest, west central, northwest Arizona, southern California, and up into the Mojave Desert of southern Nevada. Also, we've got some coastal flood watches for parts of eastern North Carolina and Virginia. Now, I want to emphasize, for sure, Aaron is not expected to make landfall there, our hurricane. It will bypass the region. However, all of those big swells, those big waves being generated by what is currently a Category 3 hurricane, well, that's going to create some coastal flooding potential. And in Dare County out there in Hatteras Island, North Carolina, they've already issued mandatory evacuations for residents in effect for starting tomorrow for visitors as of today. So again, no direct impacts, no landfall is expected, but those big swells, that overwash, could certainly create a flooding situation. And again, those coastal flood watches, parts of eastern North Carolina and Virginia. And of course, rip currents are going to be a problem there too. And that's going to be through this entire week. So if you're beach bound, be aware of that. All right, here's the convective outlook for today. We've got that standard slight risk of severe storms, level 2 out of 5, portions of Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, up toward Rapid City, as well as near Chicago and Milwaukee, with a broader severe weather risk over much of the Corn Belt. In Arizona, the southeastern portion of the state in the green, some thunder is possible today. There'll be widely scattered storms in nature, but they could produce some brief gusty winds, lightning, maybe a little blowing dust and brief heavy rain. The tropics and the Atlantic Basin, a couple of features of note. We've got this wave that's off the African coast. It's out there in the eastern Atlantic right now, and a low chance that this does anything over the next couple of days. But a much higher chance this develops into a tropical depression or storm over the next 7 days. Now the National Hurricane Center giving this a 50% probability to develop. Where it goes at this point, it looks like this will be maybe headed toward the Leeward Islands, maybe Puerto Rico, maybe Hispaniola. It's a long ways out there. This thing hasn't even developed yet, so we can't say with any real certainty. But, you know, obviously this is hurricane season, and we're starting to get toward the peak of hurricane season, which occurs in early September. But we're ramping up toward that now, so there's always that threat for a hurricane. And speaking of a hurricane, we've got a major one out there right now. This is still Hurricane Aaron, top winds 130 miles per hour, moving toward the northwest, beginning to make that turn. And as mentioned, this will split between the east coast of the United States and Bermuda. And even though direct impacts are not expected, we will see those big swells, those big waves. So rip currents, some coastal flooding will certainly be possible because, of course, we have to build right up to the beach. We have to build right up to those spots where Mother Nature says, hey, I dare you to build here. And then we do. And then, well, then these kinds of things happen, unfortunately. All right. And if we look at modeling here, again, very consistent modeling on Aaron. Yeah, there you see on this is the tropical set, the ATCF set. There's one model that takes this up towards South Carolina. Okay, we're going to discount that. That is a clear outlier. But you can see this is the good clustering here. Same for the GFS ensemble and the same idea from the European ensemble. I mean, you got 31 members on this one. You got 51 members on this one. So obviously the anticipated path stays well east of the United States. So direct life-threatening impacts from storm surge and hurricane force winds and heavy rain are not anticipated. Closer to home, the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Monday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, we might see a few hundredths of an inch, maybe even a tenth of an inch someplace. Heavier amounts expected, of course, in the favored areas up north, the eastern mountains, and far southern and southeast Arizona, where amounts could be generally 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch. But whenever we show you this graphic, you know what I tell you, your amount will vary because any one spot can always get more than what's displayed here. This is an average of what you'll see. So what's going on with this weather pattern? Let's figure it out to the best of our ability right now as we take a look at the models, see what the future may hold. Here we go. The GFS, the 060 run. This is valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The upper look at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet off the ground. Aaron is over on the right side of your screen, turning toward the northwest. Got the ridge that is over the nation's heartland that's moving back toward the west, headed back toward northern New Mexico later today. And there's that big trough that's still out there, that upper low over the northeast Pacific. So our part of the state is still under a drier south-southwesterly flow aloft, but the moisture is coming into the eastern third of the state. So what it all means down at the surface for the rest of the day today, mostly sunny, slightly warmer, highs 103 to 107. Widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible over the far eastern mountains and the southeastern portion of the state today. We don't anticipate anything here in the valley. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight lows will generally be in the upper 70s to upper 80s, and tomorrow it's more the same, highs close to 110. But let me show you, this is our HRRR, high resolution rapid refresh model, one of our convective allowing models tomorrow. This is at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. And at that time, yeah, we could maybe see some isolated showers and thunderstorms trying to get toward the lower deserts because that flow aloft is now more out of the southeast. And so some storms may be pushed from the mountains toward the lower deserts. It's just the problem is going to still be that the lower levels of the atmosphere will still be fairly dry. And the upper levels will still have kind of a capping inversion. So these storms are going to have a problem surviving into the lower desert. Still, we could see some gusty winds, maybe some blowing dust. I suppose maybe somebody in the northern or eastern portion of the valley gets some rain, but the chance of storms in here, the chance of measurable rain is very small for tomorrow evening. But just know there is that threat for at least some gusty winds tomorrow evening over portions of the valley. Let's keep going. Take it out to Wednesday, and we're heating up. Highs probably getting to a couple of degrees either side of 110 at this point. Widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms over the higher terrain. Isolated storms here in the lower deserts, so we can't discount the possibility of a late day or evening storm here. And the heat continues. That ridge is drifting now near the Four Corners, upper heights about 597 decameters. This should be the core of the heat. Highs anywhere from about 110 to 114 on Thursday. And again, scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms in the east, central, and southeastern parts of the state. Widely scattered storms in the lower deserts. Now, the only limiting factor, that ridge is in a very good position to advect monsoon moisture, but it's an intense ridge. It's a lot of heat. We talk about this on the videos all the time. The more heat, the harder it is to get those storms to survive here in the lower deserts because we have that kind of warmer air aloft. But a good outflow boundary, a really organized group of storms that puts out that the deep outflow boundary that can break that cap, that can allow some additional storms to develop here in the lower deserts. Maybe we'll see that on Thursday night. But the more likely time to see storms may be Friday. The ridge weakens ever so slightly. Yeah, it's still going to be hot. Highs 108 to 113 for Friday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms in the eastern part of the state, and some of those are going to be pushed into the lower deserts. And I think this could actually be a decent day for storms with very slightly cooler air aloft. And the GFS and some of our models indicate some semblance of maybe an upper disturbance or even an inverted trough trying to rotate in here. Not sure about that. It's way too early to call, but if that does happen, that could serve to enhance showers and storms on Friday. At this point, we'll slightly bump up the chances of storms into about the 30% bracket for now. Might have to adjust that higher as we get closer to the event, but at this point, sure looks like a decent opportunity for storms. Obviously, over the higher terrain, a much better chance. All right, let's go to Saturday. Temperatures will start to trend down just slightly. Highs back toward 107 to 111 here on Saturday, with widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and storms. And of course, how the monsoon rhythm typically works is if we do have an active day on Friday, all things being equal, Saturday would probably be a less active day, and the GFS certainly indicates that, but still that chance of storms would be with us. Sunday, high temperatures back toward about 103 to 108, with, again, widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, a pretty basic copy-paste, low-grade monsoon forecast in effect for this weekend. It really depends on the positioning of this ridge, which we can't pin that down precisely, but it will be centered roughly to the north of us, so we'll still see that good easterly flow in here and at least some monsoon moisture around. A week from today, Monday the 25th. The ridge is broadly centered here over the southwest, just north of Arizona, maybe near the Four Corners or over Utah, so we continue with an easterly or southeasterly flow, with widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, and temperatures trend down a little further as the ridge continues to weaken. Those upper heights come down, and that should actually allow for slightly better chances of storms, potentially. And you can see that here in the synoptic look. Monday kind of looks active if this works out. Here's Tuesday. This is the 26th. Again, the ridge is centered roughly north of us, somewhere around the Four Corners or just north and west of there, southeasterly flow. And again, afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms will be possible if that verifies. Maybe scattered showers and storms. And temperatures look to be down even further. In fact, latest guidance coming off the national blend of models continues to lower temperatures out here further out in the extended, maybe to below average levels. That would be great. End of the forecast period we go. This is Wednesday, the 27th, and again, scattered showers and thunderstorms around, mainly in the afternoon and evening hours, but the monsoon looks like it's ramping up during this period. Again, the ridge is weaker, but it's still firmly implanted over the southwest, over the Four Corners, or just to the north of us. And so the chance of showers and thunderstorms would continue if this is right. But again, we're out here toward next week. This is likely to change between now and then, but there's pretty good model data that backs up this assertion that rain chances will increase and temperatures will decrease. Looking at the GFS ensemble, this goes out through the 1st of September, rainfall for Phoenix. Ensemble mean continues to bump up, and we've seen this about half an inch, 0.6 of an inch. European AI ensemble, I had to double check there. This is do a double take. That's over 3/4 of an inch. So, and you've got some individual members that are up over 2 inches on this. And again, the Euro AI ensemble has been the more reliable ensemble, and it is actually wetter than the GFS ensemble now. So, again, there's good optimism here by about 5-6 days and beyond, especially as we get into this weekend. Next week, in particular, sure looks like better chances of storms. I know. Heard it before, but the more reliable Euro AI model is even trending that way. But obviously, things can change, so we'll kind of temper our expectations a little bit. Temperatures off the national blend of models. Yeah, this week it's going to be very hot once again, especially Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 112, 113. We could even be as high as 114 degrees on one of these days. But then look what happens way out there toward the end of the period. We got highs trending down to just barely above 100. And so there is, again, good agreement, even on the national blend of models, that temps will come down as rain chances and moisture ramps up. And this is one of those better late than never from the monsoon front, right? We're still only sitting officially at 0.16 of an inch for our total rainfall this monsoon. I know some of you have had way more than that, though. All right, checking out the Climate Prediction Center outlook for the 8 to 14 day period. This goes out all the way through the end of the month, August 25th through the 31st. Temperatures, hey, below average, maybe across at least the western portions of the state, with near average temperatures favored here in Phoenix. Precipitation is skewed toward above average, with Phoenix, let's see, I have it right here. I had the specific number, 42% probability of being above average precipitation. And about a 34% chance of near average, so then the remainder below average. But it sure looks like probabilities are skewed toward above average precipitation to close out the last week of August. That is music to my ears. And again, I know you'll believe it when you see it, but the monsoon has shown at least some signs of life the last few days. So maybe we'll see that ramping up as we go deeper into this week and especially next week. That's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really enjoy what we do here, click that thanks icon below the video. Make that contribution to us. Go to PayPal. Help us out there. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. And, of course, our Venmo linked up down below. And, of course, here's the banner. The banner for the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. I'm talking about my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, almost undoubtedly Adriana related. It's all linked up down below. Our streaming station available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music and have a lot of fun over there. And be sure to check out Dan over at the Courtroom Files YouTube channel, The Courtroom Files on YouTube. Check him out, or courtroomfiles.com for all of the merch that he has to offer there. So he supports us. You support him. That's how it goes. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. Please be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there, and have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Monday.